स्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित् सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यस्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवैति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः. I meditate always within my heart on the self-effulgent Atman, the existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, the goal of the great ascetics, the transcendent and the eternal, who is beyond the states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. I am verily that indivisible Brahman and not a combination of material elements. In our last study, we learned Shankara telling us to negate Nishidhya Nikhilopadin by negating all the upadhis through the help of the scriptural statement. It is not this, it is not this. Neti neti. Through this way of negating the seen objects, Drishya, Jagat, all that is which is not self. Realize your true identity with the Brahman. This is what Shankara told us in our last study. Now let's see how to discriminate, how to negate. So it starts straight away. The shloka starts with avidya. It seems avidya has much to do in Advaita Vedanta. It takes a very, if not ultimate, important place in Advaita Vedanta. Because as far as knowledge is concerned, there's no problem. The Atman or the Brahman is ever existing reality, which we needn't have to worry. What's important is, it's from this side of a scenario, from our side of the scenario, where we are still in the world of relative, in the ignorance. We are fighting the ignorance. This is what is troubling us from seeing or being what we are truly. So all the problem with us is with the Maya or nescience, avidya. Hence, it's very important for us to understand what avidya is. Once we understand what avidya is, we can easily negate it, deny it, and thereby assert our true nature. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, if you recognize avidya, avidya will shy away from you. A certain person would cover himself with a sheet and try to frighten the little ones. Even we see in the life of Swami Brahmananda, he had childlike nature. One day he was in Balram's house, the devotee Balram, you all know him. So he had a lot of little kids were there. He wrapped himself with a blanket and he went and frightened. The kids, at first, they all got frightened, screamed at the top of their voice. But then one of them said, I know, you are uncle, you are uncle. You are Maharaj, I know, why are you frightening us? Then Swami removed the thing and took the kids on his lap and caressed them. The moment the kids recognized that he is not somebody, he is our Maharaj, immediately he removed his veil sheet. So in the same way, once when we recognize Maya, it will shy away from us far. Maya doesn't have its own existence. It's not an independent entity. It's completely dependent on reality. So once it is recognized, it disappears. So what avidya is, definition, we need to remember 5 to 6 things as far as avidya is concerned. So I repeat again the definition of nescience. It is sadasadbhyam. It is real or unreal. You cannot say whether it is real or unreal. It is real because we feel it. It impinges on our body and mind. So it is real. But the moment truth is realized, it shies away, it goes off. So if it was truly reality, it wouldn't have gone. But once it's recognized, it shies away. Hence, it is unreal. So avidya or nescience is, you cannot define it, anirvachaniya. Whether it is real or not, we do not know. It is indescribable, anirvachaniya. And it is endowed with trigunas, trigunatmakam. Sattva-rajas tamas is in the nature, in the avidya, in the nescience. And jnana virodhi, opposed to knowledge. That's the one thing. As soon as the knowledge comes, ignorance disappears. As soon as the sun rises, the darkness goes away. Darkness has no place the moment sun rises. With the dawn of knowledge, the ignorance, avidya, nescience disappears. So it is opposed to knowledge. Bhavarupam. I always say ignorance is not something of not knowing. If we do not know, that's okay. It's not just not knowing. It projects something else. Bhavarupam, a very positive something. It not only hides reality, it hides reality first, and it projects something else. It brings into us the idea that body, mind, the world is real. So this is Bhavarupam. Ram Prasad sings a beautiful song. Oh mother, because your universe, your world is so sweet and so positive, so joyful, that I go behind it. If the ever blissful Brahman was not behind it, the world would not have been at all, first of all. And even if it is, it would be dead, dull matter. It's the consciousness, the chit, the bliss, ananda. In every matter, a drop of the bliss of Brahman pervades. Madhu vata ritayate, madhu ksharanti sindava. Madhu, the sweetness, pervades everything. It is this sweetness, this joy of the Brahman is in every particle. Hence, the world looks so beautiful to us. And that's why we are after it. That is mentioned by Bhavarupam. Yet kinchit, something. It is there. It's a statement of fact. Swami Vivekananda said, Maya is a statement of fact. Yet kinchit, something. I cannot explain it. I cannot define it. But it is there. I am painfully aware of it. This is the definition of nescience. Whether it's real or unreal, we do not know. It cannot be defined. It's endowed with trigunas. It's opposed to knowledge. It's something very positive, and it brings the world of matter in front of us, Bhavarupam. So this is about the ignorance. Ignorance and its manifestation. This ignorance is anadi. Anadi avidya, last time we read. Beginningless. It's beginningless and nascent. And its effect, this whole universe. These few points, if we remember, then it will be easy for us to understand the shlokas that we are going to study. Can you start it? Avidyakam sharirade drishyam buddhavaksharam etat vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. Avidyakam shariradi drishyam, the body and so on. Sharir adi, the body and so on, are created by avidya. It's a projection of avidya and of the nature of an object, and are perishable like bubbles. Realize through discrimination that you are the stainless Brahman, completely different from them, completely vilakshanam, not at all of its nature, of what it seems. It's entirely different. Etat vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. Drishyad, shariradi. Sharira means body. Adi and so on. What? Body, sense organs, mind, intellect, ego, all this together. We have in Shankara's Nirvana Shatan, Mano Buddhya Hankara, Chittani Naham. All this together is projection of avidya, avidyakam. It's a projection of avidya. And drishyam. There are two entities, two things, subject and object. Drishyam, drik. Drik, drishya. Drik is the eternal subject. And drishyam is the not self. All that is seen, understood, thought over, everything is non-self. Drishyam, objective world. So the body is also an object. The mind is an object. We can feel the mind. We understand the intellect, and we are aware of our ego. All this are drishyam, seen. Hence, they are limited or the effects of ignorance. Ignorance and its effect. As I told you, ignorance it hides the reality and then it projects. Its effect is the whole universe, the Brahmanda, from my body to the whole universe. All this is drishyam. And hence they're subject to change. And they're perishable. How? Like bubbles. Bubble doesn't have even, it doesn't stand for a second, it breaks. And wave, at least you can say for some time it comes. But whereas a bubble just breaks in a second. In a second it breaks. So when they say bubbles, the body, its existence is like a bubbles. 80 years, 90 years, sometimes people make century. How can you say, Mataji, that it is a bubble? 100 years. Compared to the eternity of the self, this mortality is nothing. 100 years of mortal life is nothing compared to our true nature, which is eternal. So comparing with the eternal nature of the Brahman, the body is like bubbles. That's what they mean. And we need to, through discrimination, we need to understand that we are entirely different. First thing is, we get this knowledge from the scriptures, Apta Vakya. The great saints who are very compassionate, Apta, they're very close to us, they're Aptas. They have great compassion. It's their experiences they jotted out in the scriptures. And that's how the scriptures came into existence. So we get the knowledge of the Atman through the Upanishads. Upanishads alone speak of the Atman. Nowhere else do you get, Shankara says. So Apta Vakyas are there. Through that, we understand that we are pure self, and we work on ourselves. And then we realize that our true nature is blissful existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, and that the body and the mind and the ego, whatever, is not self, and it is limited and kshara. And aham brahmeti, I am the pure Brahman. Pure. Why? How? Because Brahman is never contaminated by nescience and its effect. Rather, it is Brahman which enables the Maya to manifest. Apart from Brahman, there is no existence for Maya to. 1,000 years, for eons, the Maya may bind us, but still it can never uh, deny or us, because we are the true self. We are eternal self. So through the scriptures, I need to understand that I am entirely different from what I seem to be. Things are not what they seem to be. Shelley's poem is there. Whatever the nescience throws out is not real. Rope and the snake. Snake is not real. The ignorance, avidya, throws out the snake in the rope, but it is unreal. Snake is unreal. The rope alone is the real. And whatever is perceived is not real. We see so many things in our dreams, but they're not real. The moment we wake up to reality in the morning, it's gone. It's not there. So whatever is perceived is also not real. And whatever is not real, whatever is impermanent, evanescent, is also not real. Like bubbles. This moment the bubbles come, the next moment they breaks. So unreality of snake and rope, and unreality like the dream things, what we see in the dream, and the unreality of the bubbles. These are the various way of experiencing the unreality of the world. The self is not at all a product of avidya. It's rather self which enables the nescience to manifest itself. And none can have the feeling, we may see, many people have seen, learned, intellectual, everything, but they do not know much about themselves. When asked, I don't know where I go, whence I came from. But nobody has ever said, I don't know whether I exist or not. None of us have this feeling. It's true, we do not know from where we came and where we go. But we have never experienced that we don't exist. It is irrational thing. So always we have the idea that we exist. And that is because of the reality which we truly are. We can never deny this. So this feeling is, see, none of us want to die. Die in the sense, we cannot think of our non-existence. And none of us want to be unintelligent. None of us would like to be called stupids. We always assert our knowledge because knowledge is our true nature. Intelligence is our true nature. Atman is Sat, Chit. And what's the world going behind? For the sake of bliss, little bliss, trickling through the matter. It is, the world is behind it. Why? Because it's the very nature, it is seeking its true nature. Like the deer, musk deer, which goes behind the fragrance from but it's coming from itself. So all our struggle to survive, all our fight against ignorance, all our struggle to have joy shows that our true nature is Sat Chit Ananda. It is this we are truly seeking in wrong place. And we will never get it. We may get just a crumbs of it, but not the real thing. Next, no? This one. Hmm. देहान्यत्वान्न मे जन्म जराकार्ष्यलयादयः शब्दादि विषयै संगो निरिन्द्रियतया न च. I am free from changes such as birth, thinness, senility, and death. For I am other than the body. I am unattached to the objects of the senses, such as sound and taste, for I am without sense organs. So you can very well understand, it's so obvious when we say I. What is that I? It is not the I which is obvious to the senses. It is something which is pointing. So I am different. As it said, Etad vilakshanam nyatva aham brahmeti nirmalam. Know yourself to be entirely different from what you seem to be. And that you are Brahman, the pure. Hence, the characteristics of the body also do not belong to me. If I am not the body, if I am something different from the body, naturally, it goes without saying, whatever pertains to the body doesn't belong to me, to the self. What is it? Birth, it has come into, something has come into existence. Old age, decay, death, these are not for me. I am something different. Etad vilakshanam nyatva. Know it, that you are Brahman, the pure. Sangha. And it said, I have no Shabdadi Vishaye Sango. Sangha is a very strong word. It's a very meaningful word. Sangha is identification, attachment. And it's a connection. There's no connection whatsoever with sense objects such as sound, touch, form, taste, smell. Again, we have this Mahanirvana Shatakam, Nirvanam thing. Manobuddhyahankara chittaninam nacha shrotra jihve nacha grahana netre. None, neither ear, this sense organ, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, none of these are me. All these are superimposed on the self. All this not self is superimposed on not self. And this superimposition is of two types. One is of the substratus, the very substance, very fundamental thing, the basic thing. That is the snake on the rope. The snake is superimposed on the rope. Supposing there is no rope, there's no question of snake at all. If there is no rope, no one will get frightened about the snake. It is because the rope is there, there is every possibility of seeing a snake in darkness or in the semi-darkness. If the rope was not there, that's no question at all. In the same way, because Brahman is there, the ultimate real substratus is there. On that, something is superimposed. That is the world, the individuals, all of us. And the other one is its attributes. For example, a red color flower near the crystal. The crystal inherits the color of the flower. Remove the flower, crystal is colorless. Keep something blue or red, whatever it is, the crystal looks blue-red. So the blueness or the redness is superimposed on the crystal, which is very clear, colorless. So both is possible, both are supreme. Both this type of superimposition are made on the self, Atman. And through inquiry, we overcome, deny. So we start with the body from the grossest thing. So we told the body is a product of ignorance. It was shown that the body is not the self is entirely different. So naturally, what pertains to the body doesn't belong. All this, hence the self, the Atman is unborn, unaging, undecaying, and immortal. So this is the grossest body. Deha is over. Next is the subtler than the body is the sense organs, the indriyas. And what's the function of the indriyas? Its function is to establish a connection between the objects of senses and the mind, so that the sense objects are experienced. The self is pure awareness, and indriyas are not of the self. Indriyas, the sense organs, are products of nescience. Deham, Sharira Adi, we read in the first shloka, we read Sharira Adi. Sharira Adi is so on, body and so on. So we have taking the sense organs. Hence, how do we think? How do we practice this? In the Gita, Sri Krishna beautifully, he explained. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Sprashan, Pralapan, Visrijan, Grihinan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi, Indriyan, Indriyartheshu, Vartanta, iti dharayan. Seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, grasping, letting go, and winking of the eyes, the eyelids. All this has been done. Everything is continuously being done, but I stand aside and objectify, observe it as an object. The sense organs are having their dealings with the sense objects. What is that for me? I stand aside. This capacity to stand aside and observe our own body, mind, intellect as an object, and never to identify itself or get confused with it, is the great strength which the Advaita Vedanta gives us to us. Even the little practice of this gives tremendous strength. When we were very young, 20, 21, 22, in the prime of our youth, when things are very strong, everything. So I would wonder, how am I going to lead this life? Then I went and asked one of our Mataji, she said, Tumi nitya shuddha buddha mukta atma. Roj jap karbe. She would tell me. She was a very strong lady. Every day, just like how you repeat your mantra, you assert your true self. I am the ever free, ever pure, ever blissful Atman. I'm not this body. I'm not the mind. I used to practice this like parrot. Yeah. Then as I used to keep, what do I mean by it? See, the mind started thinking. And once I started thinking, when I had just a very vague idea also, that gave me tremendous strength and joy. And that's how the practice starts. That doesn't matter. Let us practice like parrots. Let's repeat it. I am pure. I am infinite. I am eternal. I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. Doesn't matter. It may start as like tables when we were children, 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. We used to by heart. What did we know at that time? When the teacher asked us to practice this, we didn't know its application. But later on, we learned how to apply the tables to the problems. So, in the same way, when we start understanding this, even repeating like parrots doesn't matter. Slowly, we will know how to apply it to our practical problems. See, the ideas are same. So we denied the body, we denied the sense organs. Now we are denying the mind. We are coming from the gross to subtle. Amanastwana me dukkha raga dvesha bhayadayah aprano hyamana shubhra ityadi shruti shasanat. I am free from sorrow, attachment, malice, and fear, for I am other than mind. He is without breath and without mind, pure, higher than the high, and the imperishable. This is from the Mundaka Upanishads, what we read last year. The mind is also the product of avidya, nescience, avidyakam shariradi, the body and the so on. So on we have come to the mind. We finished the body, we finished the sense organs, and we have come to mind. Is also the product of nescience, prakriti. Hence, it is also drishyam, seen. So whatever belongs to the mind doesn't belong to the self. How do we know that there is mind? Mind is only known through its modes. Other than that, there is no mind. What are the modes of the mind? How many ways do we understand, realize, recognize the mind? First, sankalpa, desire. Desire, resolve, doubt, faith, want of faith, steadiness, unsteadiness, shame, intelligence, and fear. These are the modes of mind. If there are no modes, no mind. So it's everything, kama, sankalpa, vichikitsa, shraddha, ashraddha, dhriti, adhriti, hri, dhi, bhayeti. These are the modes of the mind. And apart from the modes of the mind, there is no mind. We become aware of the mind through the thoughts. These are the various aspects of it. But all these are superimposed on the mind. I'm angry. I'm miserable. I'm sorry. I'm scared. I'm very happy. I'm determined to do this. No, I can't do it. I have no faith. All these sorts of on the pure self. This moment I say I am Brahman, the next moment I'm angry. I became angry. Got converted into anger. Just see, this is how every second, we superimpose this on the pure self. And that's why the Upanishad says, the Atmanas without prana, aprano hi amana. In the pure self, there's nothing. It's all the product of Prakriti. From the avyakta, the whole thing. Remember the chart which we used in the Kathopanishad? It starts with unmanifest, then Hiranyagarbha, then Mahat, then the Indriyas, and the sense objects, everything comes. It's a chart. So this belongs to avidya, prakriti. Hence, it doesn't belong to me who am pure self. Aham brahmeti nirmalam. So then what is the true self? How do I know? You are the true self. You cannot point it with your finger and say, this is. You have to deny all which is this, that. Something which you cannot perceive, you have to intuit. That is, hence, through a series of negation, negative methods, it is taught. Nirguno nishkriyo nityo nirvikalpo niranjana nirvikaro nirakaro nityamuktosmi nirmalah. Everything starts from ni. Deny. Not. Nirguno. I am without attributes and action. Nishkriyo. Eternal and pure. Free from stain and desire. Changeless, formless, and always free. Nirguno. Gunas belong to Prakriti. I told you, avidya, nescience, one of the way to understand nescience is Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These are there in the nescience. But I am other than the guna. I am nirguna. I am gunatita. Attributes such as this they are inherent in the Prakriti, not in the self. Nishkriya, actionless. Action belongs to sense organs. And sense organ is not self. But I am aham brahmeti nirmanam. I am the pure self. So actions are done by the sense organs. So, Indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. Shri Krishna said, the sense organs are dealing with the sense objects. So he remains unattached and as a witness of these things. I am separate from it. We detach ourselves and stand aside and look upon their activities, not pertaining to us who are pure self. Nitya, eternal. Why? How? Because the Atman is the witness of waking, dream, and dreamless states. And nothing can affect on me. Nothing has, the time doesn't have its control on me. I am not conditioned by time and its dimensions. Past, present, future. I am eternal. I was, I am, I will. The body may come and go, but I was, I am, I will. Nirvikalpa, undetermined. Determination is the faculty of mind. Buddhi. Nishtayatmika, buddhi. And buddhi is a product of ignorance. We want to be very proud. We are very proud of our buddhi. We think we are very intelligent. Buddhi, he's very buddhiman. He is very intelligent. But buddhi is a product of ignorance. Because we are awareness itself. Buddhi, knowledge is a limitation on the Atman. Life, light, and love are a limitation on existence, consciousness, bliss. Knowledge is a limitation. It becomes knowledge when it is objectified. Eternal subject. Even to say omniscience is also an ignorance. Ignorance in a collective sense, not us, on the Ishvara. Anyway, that's a different subject. I would like to once think and discuss about these things. Let's see. And Niranjana, stay pure, stainless. Nirvikara, not subject to change. Because only that which is finite is subject to change. Change comes when something is added with something. For example, you set the yogurt. It becomes yogurt. There is a change, parinam. It is a change. But whereas in one infinite thing, where there is nothing else to mutate, So it is immutable, changeless, nirvikara, nirakara, no, what do you call, all that we can add, call for the objects such as length, breadth, depth, nothing is there. All pervasive existence. So niraka, formless, and nitya mukta, eternally free. Nothing can bind infinite. What will you bind the infinite with? You can bind something which is finite. It's too monotonous. I can feel the sleep is coming into your eyes. Let me tell you a story from the Bhagavatam. Yashoda, one day was sick of Krishna's pranks. She wanted to tie him. This fellow doesn't allow me to do anything. Let me tie you. You sit in one place. So she wanted to tie him to a pole. She brought a string or whatever it is, and she tied it, and she went to tie to him. It just fell short by 2 inches, the thread. So she brought another thread, tied it with that, and went to tie. Again, it fell short with 2 inches. She's trying to tie it, but the thread is falling short by 2 inches. Again, she brought so many strings she brought to tie the little boy. She couldn't. And she was desperate, and she felt ashamed of herself that she couldn't tie her own son. Seeing her so much confused and tired, Krishna said, okay, mom, you tie me. Then she tied. She tied. So you can't tie an infinite. You cannot bind the infinite. You can bind only finite. The infinite Lord has come to you. He has come within the grasp of your senses. That doesn't mean to say he is finite. He is infinite. He made Yashoda aware that whom you think my son is not just your son. This whole universe is in my womb. Such is it. The finite can never be bound. There's no power in the earth which can bind. Avinashitu tad vidhi yena sarvam vidam tatam vinasham avyayasya na kashchit kartum arhasi. None can bind or what do you call? We can imagine the non-existence of eternal existence. So I am Nitya Mukta. Let us stress whenever we are faced with difficulties. I'm Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. I'm eternally free. I'm eternally pure. I'm the deathless self. So these are the things we need to assert, practice it. I'm Nirmala, pure, because I'm unconditioned. I'm not conditioned by anything. I'm the one infinite pure self. This is nothing apart from me. What can stain me? There's nothing else other than me. So this is the idea through which we attain to these great ideas. Quick, not much time is there. Ahamakashavat sarvam bahirantargatochyutah sada sarva samashuddho nissango nirmalo chalah. I feel all things inside and out, like the ether, changeless and the same in all. I am pure, unattached, stainless, and immutable. These are the nature of the pure self. As much as possible, the scriptures try to explain through the words. But what it is, you have to experience to yourself. At the most, like it is always like what's an ocean like? Oh, the waves, the color, the vastness. It's all like this. These words are like that. But what is ocean? You go and see. the experience. You have to experience your own true self. But these are all the aids, these are all the help we take. With this, we try to go towards or try to be in our true self. So the all-pervasiveness, the transcendence of the soul is emphasized here. There is nothing such a thing called as inside and outside as far as the space is concerned. Space is the Akash, is the nearest and the only simile which you can use to explain or to describe the nature of the self. Is the nearest approach, you can say. There's nothing else in the universe through which you can describe what the Atman is. So they use space. Space is the example. And as for space is concerned, there is no inside and outside. It's just the walls are a limitation. Break the wall, the space is same. So, Bahirantargata, I am nothing. I am Akashavat. I am all pervasive, like the Akasha, the space. And there's without, in and out. And Achyuta, there is no waveringness or fall. In Swami Vivekananda's lectures, you can hear him tell his story. A certain teacher, certain instructor or an inspector of the school came to inspect the children. So he was putting all sorts of questions to the little ones. So he wanted to extract some ideas about gravitation. So he asked the little kids, why doesn't the earth fall? Many of the children, they could hardly understand what the question was, and let alone they could answer. So a little girl answered the question by asking a question, where should it fall? If the earth has to fall, where should it fall? So the question is itself is, what do you call, irrational. It cannot be. Fall and steadiness is a relative. With relation to something else, something might fall. I may fall from this stage. In relation to that, it might be something fell from the tree, to the ground. But where will the earth fall? Where should it fall? So it's a ridiculous thing. So in the same way, in my true nature, I am Achyuta. That's one of the name of Sri Krishna, Achyuta, who has no chuti, who has no fall, always steady, same, constant. Sada Sarvasama. I'm constant, I'm same. Not inside one, outside with different. No, always I'm the same. And Shuddha, eternally pure. See, the purity of the Atman is again and again stressed because it is here we fail. So constantly remember that we are pure. And Nisanga, completely I'm unattached. Asanga, Nisanga, it's say, I'm unattached. The body, mind, intellect, I'm entirely different. Etat vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. Remember that sentence, the first sentence of the second sentence of the first verse. And hence, I am stainless and immutable, change. I am changeless, nirmala, stainless, because I'm not affected by the gunas. It's the gunas which always makes the changes. And immutable. I'm all-pervading existence. Where will I move? In relation to what should I move? Where is that where I'm not? This is the idea. Nitya-shuddha vimuktaikam akhandanandamadvayam satyam jnanam anantam yat param brahmahameva tat. These are for meditation. I am verily that supreme Brahman, which is eternal, stainless, free, which is one, indivisible and non-dual, and which is of the nature of pure bliss, truth, knowledge, and infinity. Nitya Shuddha. Nitya Shuddha, Vimukta. I'm always free. Shuddha, Vimukta, Ekam. Not subject to past, present, and future. I'm same. Infinite, free from ignorance and its effect. Avidya and its effect. We read in the first shloka. Absolutely, there is no trace of sorrow. There is nothing which can touch me. I am the absolute infinite bliss. Hence, no sorrow. Akhandanandam Advayam. Indivisible. See, there are three types of division in the world of objects. One, for example, there are so many things in the universe. Take a, for example, a cow is different from a horse. These are different. This is distinct. Cow is entirely distinct from horse. This one type of division. The other is, there is a black horse, there is a red horse, there is a white horse. But differences are there among the horses. This is a type of difference. And then take the horse. It has its tail, it has the ears, it has strong legs. These are all the different parts of the horse. So this is a different type of distinction. Distinction between two objects, distinction is the same and the different parts. Atman doesn't fall into any of these three divisions. That is why indivisible, one eternal infinite reality it is. And the last line, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. This is the definition of Brahman in the Upanishads, Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahman is Satyam, truth which is not subject to past, present, future, which is always constant. Trikala bhadita Satya. Truth is that which is not negated in the past, present, and future, that which remains always same. Satyam, Jnanam, pure infinite consciousness. Jnanam, Anantam, infinity. So, Satyam, truth, consciousness, and infinity are the nature of Brahman. This is how Brahman is described in the Upanishad. And that is what I am in my true essence. Evam nirantarabhyasat brahmaivaasmiti vasana haratya vidya vikshepan rogan nivarasayanam. So this is the result of all this thought what we did. Actually, this from 30 to 35, whatever we, this is the last shloka, isn't it? Yes. From the Avidyakam, from where we started, today's, these 6 or 7 verses are the meditation on the Atman in the path of knowledge. These are actually nididhyasanas. Nididhyasanas are not meditations that you close your eyes and do. These are the deep reflections you carry on day and night in the waking dream sleep. Asupter, amrityur, nayeta vedanta chintanam. Till you fall asleep, till the last breath of your life, carry on with this Vedantic reasons. The Upanishads tells us, the scripture says, Advaita Siddhi, I think so. Asupter. Because constantly we are dealing with the not self, and constantly we are identifying ourselves with the not self. And this vichara, this is called as Atma Vichara. This is called as reason. Rationally reasoning out the true nature of the self. This is a sort of meditation in the Jnana Yoga. It is called as Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is not meditation. Usually we translate it as meditation. Nididhyasana is Atma Vichara. Constantly, when we interact with people, When we come into clashes, it is that time you have to reason. It is like putting the water on the, or the salt on the leech. The leech holds us, it can suck the blood. So what we do, we put salt on it and in it lives. So when we are in the clutches of avidya and not self, when it is overpowering us, when it is when we are being deviated from our natural state, it is that time we have to bring in these thoughts and free ourselves from that. Just immediately it gives, it pours water on hot-headed people, you pour water on the head. Bhuvaneshwari used to do for the little Narendra when he used to become very restless. She would pour water on his head and say, I asked for a Shiva to give a son, and he has sent a devil. So, that's how these thoughts will break, and it will give us, enable us to pause and think, what am I doing? I'm deviating from my true nature. This is not I am. It comes through practice, very hard, very, very hard. It's not so easy. But every step is a gain. It is. So constantly by pondering over these thoughts, these ideas, abhyasa, nirantara. Nirantara means ceaseless. See, for everything, ceaselessness is important. Ceaseless prayers, ceaseless repetition of God's name. No one is asking you can do it in the morning and evening. No. Ceaseless. If your priorities are your spiritual evolution, your spirituality, then ceaselessness is the important thing to be done. Constant. Nirantaram. Thus, constantly pondering over the true nature. Then, I should realize what truly I am. I should not, will my life be spent only in reading the scriptures and feeling, how nice it is to be all pervasive, to feel one with everyone? Should it always be, should it be always a dream, a hope? Can't I try? Can't we feel it? So this sort of desire comes. Then we work hard. This vasana, Brahmai Vasmiti Vasana, this impression. What are vasanas? Vasanas are impression. Now, what is the impression that we are? I am the body, I am the mind. This is so deep into us. We who are pure awareness, consciousness, we have become matter, bone, blood, bone marrow, skin, everything is there in us. What are we truly? Behind all this, what is that? It is the pure self, the spirit. If that is not there, not a single sense organs can bind, not a single elements can mix within them. No, it's not possible. Only when the self is behind, everything gets consolidated, or the self is like an adhesive which brings the elements together. In the Bhagavatam, there is a mention, all the elements were made, but they all remained separate. Couldn't mix. The self entered, then all the elements started mixing up together, and the universe of name and form came. So it's the spirit, the Atman behind, the Brahman behind, is the very basis of our existence. On that is everything else. And all other things will go, but that will remain. This idea, constantly when we keep on meditating, these ideas will become deep. This I am Brahman, that impression will become deep. Now how the impression is, I am the body, this is strong. A time will come where body, mind, intellect, everything will look just like as if it's something is drawn on a canvas. Swamiji says, it's everything as if it looks like a drawing, picture on the canvas. Everything will look, the world of ideas will look so hazy. Only your true nature, that will be bright. You don't need a mind or intellect to understand, because you can never understand it, realize it through body. So you transcend your body and mind, and you remain in your true nature as the blissful, pure, infinite Atman. So this idea, when it becomes strong, becomes deep impression is made, then we understand that we are Satyam, we are truth, Jnanam, we are pure consciousness, and we are infinite. So this is the Nididhyasana aspect of Jnana Marga. This is not meditation, this is Nididhyasana. This is the Atma Vichara. This is how we reason out the true nature of ourself. In our next talk, we will be discussing the same thing through Patanjali's yoga. Because Advaita Vedanta, to, to certain extents, it allows it. What is important, Swamiji says, is each soul is potentially divine. And the goal is to manifest this divinity. Do it with work or worship or reason or meditation. Do with anything. Everything. You use all whatever is necessary and be free. This is what is the essence of religion, Swamiji says. So we take everything in order to free ourselves, to enjoy the true bliss of freedom while we are still in this body and mind. That is the challenge that nature has thrown to us. And that's a very beautiful ideal and purpose of life, exalted purpose, to feel our freedom, our blissful nature, even while we are living. Jivan Mukti, this joy of the freedom of the self. That's the purpose we are born for. And we try to go forward in our spiritual life as much as possible through these reasons. With this talk is finished. Namaskar.
So there's some time now for questions, answers, discussion.
Questions?
No
All
question.
doubts are cleared.
Okay.
I think in one of the verses that the ether was mentioned, but I think the ether in that case is not the one that science was pursuing, which was the ether that sort of flows through the universe. Because when Buckleson and Morley tried to measure the velocity of the ether, they found there wasn't one. But I think the ether you're referring to is not the same as the one that science was talking about.
Oh, space. Now, see, olden
Well, I
days,
think the idea,
definition.
I think that's not a bad idea to sort of call it an ether of sorts, but just don't.
Now we don't
I-
use the word. It is an
But-
old edition.
I know I sort of thought, oh, that's wrong. But I go, no, I don't mind that, because in a way you can sort of think of it as something behind everything else that fills everything else. And I just made the mental switch that it's not what science was talking about. You forget that. It's
Yeah.
something, it's another, we'd have to define it in a different way.
Yeah.
But-
That is why, see, in the old books, it used to be, they used to say ether. Ether is not the one. The space is the better word to use, I suppose. Isn't it? As long as we understand what the subject is, that's enough for us. Yes, anything? Kannan? Nothing? Yes. No, Robert has no questions. He's constant. Yes. That's it. Thank you.
Yep, so this self-knowledge series will continue next month. Next Sunday, we've got a special event. We have the monthly talk on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, but also, well, special event, somewhat poignant event as well, because we'll be all remembering our dear friend Saraswati Queenie Naidu. So the family will be here, and you'll be invited, whoever would like to come up and say a few words as part of the memorial service. We'll have a PowerPoint presentation as well. In the meantime, next Friday night, we have the fortnightly Bhagavad Gita discussion led by Pravrajika. All right, so thanks for attending today. Thanks to those who joined us via Zoom.